Your next match is on table 1, Mike King, Mike Larkins. Table 2, Sam Bircher, Danny Davis. Table 4, Sammy Craddock, Alan Gill. Table 7, Aki Khan, Adam Thomas. Table 10, Josh Ben Capp. Table 11, Scott Ant, Stephen Smart. Table 12, James Rouse, Callum Boyd. Table 14, Kelsa, Alex Cameron. Table 15, Giuseppe Dylan Leary. Table 16, Table 1, change to table 9, please. Mike King, Mike table 9.
After that queue, right? And don't hide it, wait till your bet comes.
Oh yeah, that'll be fine then. Yeah, that'll be fine. No, that'll be fine, yeah, just give me a couple of hours. Too much yesterday.
Simon Mallon, top table please.
Well, yeah, there's only you and then one other
Table 1, Matt Cook, Richard Chapman.
Very good afternoon and welcome back to the Macure Daventry Court Hotel for continued live coverage of Tour 4 of the EPA Tour. Next up, the quarter-final match, Mike King against Mike Larkins. Mike King has broken off and hasn't passed anything, so first look at Mike Larkins. Best of 13 this match. The winner goes through to the semi-finals. The two semi-finals will be streamed live at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock today, followed by the final at around 10 o'clock tonight. Mike King, of course, a familiar face at this stage of the tournament. Mike Larkins, most viewers may have seen a bit less of. The fact that he's in the Tour quarter-final there tells you everything you need to know. Very accomplished player in his own right. Pretty good opportunity as well, this for the first frame of the match. Really played a couple of good delicate touch shots so far. Played a decent shot in that he's opened the black up, but it's just gone a bit further than he wants to do with the cue ball, which is why he's looking slightly annoyed. I was hoping he was going to be on the ball to the bottom left-hand corner pocket. Instead of that, I think he's going to have to take a more difficult pot top right next. Played a nice shot there, though. Been a very sensible clearance, this. He hasn't gone for anything unnecessary. Some people would have played slightly more complicated positional shots to get better on some of these balls, but he's just done the right thing. Just drop the ball in, make sure he's left himself a shot at the next one. This has been a good start. Dry break from Mike King, punished to the maximum. Black safely down, Mike Larkins goes 1-0 up. It's the third match of the day for both players in the tour. We started at 9 AM this morning with the last 32. where Mike Larkins had a bit of a scare, got taken to a deciding frame by Rich Wharton, ultimately coming through that 7-6 and beat Lee Howitt 7-4 in the last 16 to set this match up. Mike King's beaten a couple of good players en route to this quarter-final as well. Beat Eddie Barker first up this morning, followed by Adam Davis in the last 16 match, so both of these two will be match sharp having got to this point. First look then at Mike Larkins' break as he gets us underway in frame 2. Not a bad outcome. He's spotted a yellow ball. A couple of balls very slightly tied up. Bottom left-hand quadrant of the table, but not too many significant problems. So another fairly open opportunity for him to have a look at. Red's his choice, and I think the red that's closest to the yellow at the bottom of the screen as we currently look at it will pot into the bottom left hand corner. Showing very good cue ball control so far. That was the hallmark of the clearance in the first frame. Wasn't trying to do too much with the white, just keeping it all simple. Played a series of good touch shots. It's been pretty much the order of the day here as well. No choice but to play a cannon this time, and potting the red to the bottom right hand corner pocket. He's going to run into the ball next to it, so just needs to judge this cannon. Well, you can tell from the body language that's gone a little bit astray. Judged the cannon okay with the first ball he hit, but was just knocked one of the other balls safe in the process. Could be worse. At least he's got another shot to continue with, but he's now not got too many opportunities to move out if that red is tied up with the yellow. His options for moving out are going to be fairly limited. May have an angle to screw into it from here. Well, he's got the first part of the shot right. He's got the cannon okay in that he's knocked the ball into play. What's he on though? He can pot the ball that's the higher of the two reds, but that affords no position to the other one. So I'd like to start with the one that's on the bottom cushion if he can get to it. A good statement of intent if he could win this second frame. When he puts down a marker if he goes 2-0 up. However he goes about this, the problem is getting position on the last ball. So this one pots okay, but it's going to be a very difficult positional shot. Well, I tell you what, that's not come out badly at all. Cue ball had a long way to travel there and was trusting to luck a little bit with the final contact on the yellow, but he picked out a good line. Really good effort there. They're never easy when you're cutting along a cushion like that. Did everything but drop that ball. So, safety shot from Mike King. Didn't make any sense, of course, to go for a clearance there. That red's blocking the path of several balls to the bottom right-hand corner, which is why Mike's looking at whether there's a way of getting 2 shots here. Well, I'd be happy with that outcome. As he played that shot, I was going to say I slightly query the value of playing the shot like this, because it's going to be very difficult to leave yourself a shot at the black. And actually, he was in quite a good position with that pocket covered. Fortunately, from his point of view, he caught it thin enough that the white did come back out, leaving him a shot at this black. It's not an easy one, but it's a makeable shot. Oh, great pot. What a good quality finish that was. Was in a tricky snooker there, came out the snooker and got position on the black. So, very good stuff so far from Mike Larkins. Mike King, we know how good he is, but we haven't seen too much of him at the table yet. Just a reminder of our schedule for the rest of the evening. It's a tour event all the way through to the final now. It's got the 2 semi-finals at 6 and 8 o'clock tonight, followed by the final at 10 o'clock. Mike King then to break off in frame 3. Can't really ask for a much better break than that. Ball of each colour potted. A dry break in the first frame, which led to a loss of frame, but this is a really good opportunity. This is where Mike King is normally at his best. Very good potter. Likes to attack a frame like this. Looks like he's got this one pretty well unlocked, because he's now got the route for the 2 yellows at the top of the table, which will leave him the 2 over the right hand middle pocket last. Good standard of play so far in this match, both players quickly getting after any finish on offer. And that was a good shot. It was important just to screw past the second yellow. Didn't want to kiss into it. Held the cue ball nicely. So, just this simple black. Having been kept away from the table for the first couple of frames. Good break and finish from Mike King to pull one back. Score now Mike Larkins 2, Mike King 1. Mike Larkins then stepping up to break in frame 4. opting for a pretty controlled break. Took a bit of pace off that one. Didn't just aim to smash into it. It was more about controlling the cue ball. He'll be happy enough with the outcome of that. Red ball down, although I would imagine he's going to prefer the yellows because of that red tied up on the baulk cushion. Depends, of course, whether he's got any straightforward opener. Don't know whether he can get through to the yellow that's over the top, well, sort of under his arm. Presumably not, because he's having to take this more difficult one down the cushion. Trying to take the opportunity to dislodge out the yellow that's slightly tied up furthest left on the screen. Not quite got it out, although it shouldn't be too difficult to get access to it. He's going to have to find a different route back though. A little bit to be done here because the black is a little bit tied up. I think it might go to the middle pocket, but it doesn't go to the corner. Well, that's turned out pretty badly. He's probably thinking in playing the shot like that the one saving grace was that there was always that red tied up at the top of the table. He's also knocked that out, so not only is Mike King coming back to the table, but he's coming back from a much more open position than he would otherwise have had. Not a big mistake, but it was the first mistake we've really seen from Mike Larkins that's led to this opportunity. It looks like Mike King isn't going to waste too long about these. Rattled off a very quick clearance off the break in the previous frame. So, another good clearance from Mike King. Just this black needed, well, I was going to say just this black needed. I didn't credit that he might miss the red. It's just hit that a bit thick. Trying to hold position for the black. I don't know if he feels he got a bad contact as well, but he's probably just trying to borrow a little bit of the pocket to try and straighten up the angle for the black. So, a chance that Mike Larkins wouldn't have been expecting to have. Another example of good cue ball control there. It's promoted the yellow along the baulk cushion slightly. It's still quite close to the cushion, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Doesn't really need to do much with it, you can just roll it in at least. Ball safely down. None of the other ones should present any trouble at all. They're all in very open positions. Could be a big difference this. 3-1 against 2-2 is a significant psychological difference in scoreline. Good control again with the white. Had an option, he could have played for any of the three yellows on the table, but this is a good one to get out the way. That was the marginally more difficult of the three to get on. So now he's got that sorted, he can take these two easy ones to the top left-hand corner, and then just pull the white back slightly for the black. So an opportunity he shouldn't have had, but Mike Larkins doesn't need asking for a second time. In a frame that could have so easily gone the other way. It's Mike Larkins that takes it. He now leads by 3 frames to 1. If you're just joining us, you're watching live coverage of Event 4 of the EPA Tour, coming to you from the McKeer Daventry Court Hotel. I'm Mark Shepherd. I'll be with you throughout the day as we bring you live coverage of this tour event, playing down to a final at 10 o'clock tonight. That's Mike King's break we've just seen, which has deposited 2 yellow balls. Generally good standard of breaking so far, just the one dry break from Mike King in the first frame. Since then both players have been making some balls. Yellows of course preferred here because a couple of the reds are a bit tied up. Exactly the opportunity Mike King's looking for as well. Slightly disappointing end to the last frame where he handed his opponent an opportunity he won't have been expecting. If you can come straight back out and get a frame on the board, that's quickly forgotten. Regular in the England squad, of course, Mike King, so tons of experience playing at this kind of level. Not sure if he was playing to cannon the yellow next to the black or if he was just playing past it. Just slightly chasing position the last couple of shots. Yellow to the left of the black, I think, was just playing on his mind slightly. Red ball's not in a bad position, but clearly some work to be done. A couple clustered near the black and one on the left-hand side cushion. Well, I don't think it takes too much analysis to offer the view that that wasn't what he intended, because what he's managed to do is open all the yellows up and hand the table back to his opponent. A couple of loose shots from both players. Wasn't the easiest shot that Mike King has just missed there. He was trying to play a fairly delicate shot to get position. He was trying to drop on the yellow in the middle, which he's done okay, but as a result just took his eye off the pot. The yellow's all now in pretty open positions though, so Mike Larkins needs to make this one count. A little bit to think about here, because even though the balls are quite well spread apart, there's a couple of them that don't quite pop from where they are. So I think the two nearest the black spot look like they're slightly obstructing each other. And the red nearest the yellow top right looks like it may be blocked from that corner pocket. one of the difficult shots there. That was a good opening pot of the clearance. So able to play for a choice of reds there. We'll find out in a minute if the red that's just above the cue ball does pot to the top right hand corner pocket. If not, he's going to need to drop in behind it off one of these other two. Yeah, it's quite tight, isn't it? It may just squeeze past that yellow, but it looks like he's got a full pocket. Would be easier if he can pot it direct. He's left himself a bit straight on the one to the middle. If that other ball, the ball nearest the bulk line, if that doesn't pot to the top, or the bottom right hand corner pocket from this angle, it's not going to be that easy to get onto from where he is. Yeah, looks like it must pot directly. Wow, he's just skimmed off the yellow there. Normally if you catch the ball that you're playing past, they don't go in, but just got the faintest of touches on the yellow as he went past. That was how tight it was. Just pushed the yellow out of the way and forced the red through in the end. So that's one obstacle negotiated. Still the obstacle in the shape of the two reds that are together near the black spot. Maybe that he feels that the bottom one does pot into the bottom left hand corner if he can get the right angle on it. If not, he's going to have to do a lot of work with the cue ball around the houses. Yeah, so it is around the houses he goes. Houses like here. Well, didn't really arrive with enough pace or quite the right line to be developing much there, because even if he'd have hit that a little bit harder, that red would still have been going towards the pocket that's covered by the yellow. Got himself into a bit of a mess here. Potentially play a delicate snooker off the left hand of the two reds if he leaves the white where the red currently is. Doesn't look like that's what he's going for though. Well, holds up his hand. That's not the worst outcome at all. Didn't really make very much of that shot right up until that red went and rested on the black, but that's almost the perfect safety shot. So very open shot at the remaining two yellows for Mike King, but he's got to find some way of getting into that black. Going all the way around the table to consider the options. It's not entirely straightforward, this. He's played that well, as long as he's not hampered by the jaw of the pocket. The problem there was always that the black was quite close to the middle pocket, so you've got to be quite careful the angle you arrived at so that you didn't go in off. He's avoided that danger though. Good positional shot. Dropped low on the black. So, good clearance in the end from Mike King. He was made to work for that one. Had to dislodge the black before he could complete the clearance. He'll be a relief man though. For a moment it looked like he could go 4-1 behind. As it is, he's pegged one back. The score now, Mike Larkins 3, Mike King 2. So both players have played some good stuff already in this match. Mike Larkins with the first opportunity as he breaks off in frame 6. Employed a kind of slower cut break last time. Let's see if he does the same here. Well, the cut break, it's not very common to go in off like that. Normally one of the advantages of playing the break like that is that the one thing you don't do is go in off. Just seemed to catch it a bit thin and the white was careering around the bottom half of the table. Costly thing to do at this level, in and off the break, because not only do you turn the table over to your opponent, but you give them ball in hand as well, which gives them a bit more flexibility of where they start their clearance. It's going to be one of those delicate clearances where you've got to be quite careful what you do with the white ball. The yellows are the favourite set of balls. It's just bit of a congregation of them in the middle of the table. This is where good players are very good at just unlocking these puzzles. A lot of people of a slightly lower standard come to a table like this and they can see a way of potting 4 or 5 of them, but they're just going to be stuck with the last couple of balls. That's not quite what Mike wanted. He slipped the wrong side of that red. He's now sneaking himself off the ball down the right-hand cushion. May still be able to play this as a plant, though. No, in fact he couldn't, so opts for the safety shot. It's never an entirely straightforward clearance, that, but it's one that he would have expected to get a little bit further through. It's an easy opening red if he wants it to the right centre. The bigger issue is what he does with the balls that are tied up, particularly the one on the right hand side cushion just below the middle pocket. Not really able to do too much with the white there. The natural angle is kind of drifting over towards that red that the cue ball's closest to. Isn't really much scope to force it in. Mike King looking expectant in his chair, he's just getting ready to stand up, and then his opponent backed away from the table momentarily. So yellow's still the slight favourite in this frame because of that red being tied up on the right hand side. Mike King's got a bit of time on his hands here. He was able to play that as a containing shot. Didn't have to go for anything too adventurous, just because he knows his opponent's got his red balls slightly tied up, so he isn't going to be able to go for an immediate clearance. That said, if he does want to go for the attacking option, he has actually got some chance of cutting the ball into the bottom right and then dislodging the difficult one. That doesn't look to be what he's considering at the moment, though. Looks like he's up the bulk end of the table, considering a position where he might be able to leave the white safe. No attempt at the pot there, of course. His aim was to get the cue ball into a safe position. Starting to even out a bit in this frame. It's not a case of either player now having a clear-cut advantage. Not quite as intended there. Wanted to get the cue ball in a bit tighter, but actually hasn't really left too much. So a bit of cat and mouse at the moment. Neither player able to do anything too attacking, so just trading containing safety shots. This feels like a frame that could get unlocked pretty quickly, though. This isn't one where several of the balls are clustered around one of the corner pockets and you think the safety battle's going to go on forever. Here you feel that as soon as one player gets in and amongst their own balls, they could well go for the clearance. The yellows from this position are in a better position, but Mike Larkins does have a chance here. He's got a pot at one of the difficult reds. If he went for this, then he'd just be left with that one on the right hand side cushion that doesn't go anywhere. Quite perfect now. That's why he's going to give this a bit of extra thought. Because the yellows have got promoted into fairly open positions, it's getting harder and harder to pick out a containing shot if he does need one. Never really going to be in a position where he didn't leave a shot at any of the yellows. Mike King can clearly see the left hand one on the table. You can see some of the next one over. So attempt at a plant there. Interesting dynamic now, because 4 of the 5 reds pot, and the one on the right hand cushion is the only thing that's really standing between Mike Larkins and clearing up. You assume now he's going to be forced into a more attacking option, having played quite a few safety shots. Looked like he might have been trying to dislodge it there. Didn't quite feel like he had the angle. Looks like he's probably committed to leaving the difficult red to last now. Options limited there, he just couldn't get that close to the red. There was no option to cannon it out. It doesn't double in the middle because the black's in the way. So forced to play the double to the bottom left hand corner pocket. For some reason they're never that straightforward, those doubles. Doubles to the middle pocket is much easier to judge. That kind of shot into the corner pocket from a fairly wide angle, very hard to judge with any consistency. You only need the cushion to slide slightly more than you're expecting and you can miss it by quite a long way. Either way, pretty straightforward opportunity now for Mike King. There's a frame that a moment ago he may have thought he'd lost, but right back in it now. 4 yellows in pretty accessible positions and the black waiting invitingly in the middle of the table. Wow, that's not an ideal touch. Needed to either run past that yellow or nudge it at a different angle to push it towards the pocket. He's kind of ended up between those shots. If the black wasn't where it is, it would be easier to double this ball, but that's now not an option. Well, that's a good recovery shot from where he was. He got himself into a difficult position there. So Mike Larkins coming back to the table when he may not have expected to, but he's going to have to manufacture something pretty special here. Real last chance saloon in the context of this frame, because if he doesn't find some way of potting that red, it's going to be nigh on impossible to leave the cue ball in a position where that yellow isn't accessible. So, this is luck here. Well, that's pretty good. It's very important that that red stayed in the jaws of the pocket and didn't rattle out the way. So, suddenly in the space of that one shot, that's really changed the complexion of the frame. It looked like it was going to be very hard to leave that red in a position that it inconvenienced Mike King. He found one of the only spots on the table. So Mike King, having probably expected to come to the table with a clear shot at this yellow, is suddenly finding that he's the one that's under pressure. With a lot of players, this could turn into a tippy-tappy game for quite a while as they try and nudge their balls around this corner pocket. I really think that's the kind of game that Mike King's going to want to play here. Clearly his options pretty limited. You can see how difficult this is from the length of time he's had to think about this for. Well, after all that, decides that the only option is attack. Powers in the cocked hat double. Well, potted the difficult ball and then missed a sitter of a black by his standards. Larkins can quite believe that he's coming back to the table. Definitely the scrappiest of the frame so far. Both players have had a number of opportunities where they could have won. And that's pretty well controlled. It wasn't that easy to get a good position on the black, but he's judged that nicely. So, topsy-turvy frame that went around the houses with both players having goes a decent interest in winning it at one point or another. Mike Larkins though goes ahead by 2 frames again. This time he leads by 4 frames to 2. Big powerful break from, I'm sure, fairly frustrated Mike King. Let's slip that last frame. Needs to get a handle on this match again. It's not been a lot to choose between the players so far, but there's been a couple of slight mistakes at the end of frames that have proved costly, as is so often the case. Four balls potted from that break, 3 reds and a yellow. Yellows is his option. He's going to try and run into the 2 that are tied up on the left-hand side cushion. Well, halfway there, he's got one of them out. You could see from the amount of side he was having to play that last shot with that that wasn't quite the natural angle. If he could have just played that plain ball, he'd have been able to get more pace into the 2 yellows. Having to play it with check side like that took a lot of the pace out, which is why the cue ball's slightly stuck down this end of the table. This frame's now going to be all about the yellow on the left-hand side cushion. Very important frame this. Mike King doesn't want to be going 5-2 behind. So he's got the option here of playing the yellow off the red if he wants to. I'm not sure if he can play it hard enough that he can use that as a way of opening everything up. Yes, he could. He's played a good shot there, although he's been slightly unlucky that he's now left the wrong angle. If the cue ball was a bit further over to the left-hand side of the table, he'd have a nice angle to come down for the remaining yellow. As it is, this is just off straight the wrong way around. Good positive shot though, that last one. Did the right thing and played it firmly to make absolutely sure he got the yellow out into play. So does he go for the big power shot here and try and swing the white round the table? Yes, he does. That's not terrible. He's played a decent shot to get down this end of the table. But obviously rather have had the white further over to the right hand side. It's now very, very thin on this yellow. At least he has got some kind of shot at it. No choice but to have the cue ball travelling. But because of where the black is, that's not too bad. If he just takes the cue ball up and down the middle of the table, ultimately just too thin, couldn't inject enough pace into it. Not showing too much visible frustration, but White King's let slip a couple of chances. Generally looked pretty good when he's been in the balls, it's just ended up awkward a couple of times. Great opportunity now for Mike Larkins. 4-2 up already. Gets the player who he knows is a dangerous opponent. Very good opportunity here to make that 5-2. Throughout this match, Mike Larkins' cue ball control has been of the highest order. He's played a number of gentle touch shots where he's needed to keep very tight control of the cue ball. He's got a fraction more angle than he wants on this ball in the centre. If it was a bit closer to being straight, he'd be able to stay down this end of the table close to the last red. May have to settle for just going a bit further. Yeah, in fact, again, was able to play it very slowly. He seems very comfortable playing those slow shots where the ball just drops into the pocket gently. So, another frame that could have gone either way, but it's Mike Larkins that looks like he's going to take it. Black safely down. Mike Larkins moves into a 5-frames-to-2 lead. That's the end of the commentary, I'm afraid, for this match, but we'll be bringing you live streaming of the rest of the match, so do stick with us. We'll then have full lineup all the way through to the final tonight. Semi-finals at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and the main turf final following at 10 o'clock tonight.
Right, the next match is on. Table 4, Brian Wadsworth, RGC. Table 5, James Grafton, Lee Howard. Table 6, Pat Ward, Greg Gamlin. Table 8, Lee Briscoe, Mark Shepherd. Table 13, Andrew Lister, Neil Hunt. Table 14, Danny Lead, Lucas DeGean. Table 15, Gary Roy, Amy Buchanan. Table 16, Alpesh Misty, Paul Silwanzu. Sorry. What was that? And Swinton, top table, please. Okay, top table, please. Pull the phone, please, top table.
busy.